All right, welcome to Spoiler Kings. This week we are talking about Miss Marvel episode 5. Was it Time and Again? I think it was called, or what was the name of this episode?
I don't even remember, but I do know that I was emotional watching it. Like, wow.
Definitely. Like
Yeah.
right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the name of today's episode?
Uh, it was something like this, like that, where it was like a time name. Well, Time and Again. Yeah.
I mean, again, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, that was the name of it.
Yeah,
Time
so-
and yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, we'll just start off with some initial thoughts, and then we'll get into some good stuff, bad stuff, and then some predictions for the finale. So, what are you guys' initial thoughts right after watching it? What you guys think?
Right after watching it, just like Brian said, very, very emotional from pretty much from the word go. And I think I've said this in the past, and just to reiterate, the family dynamic is what's really, really, really working on this show for me.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just the interactions between the cons. It's so heartfelt and it's so positive, and you don't really see, like I've said in the past, you don't see a whole lot of positive, family or mother daughter or father son relationships. So the fact that it's so positive is just
That's
really,
because
really
most
hooking me in.
superheroes are orphans.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that wasn't your Facebook status, Brandon, because I was going to say that same exact thing. So that's not what you said for the first 15 minutes of that show.
Oh, Andy was spying on me. That's so flattering. Yeah, just to go off, dude. Young Aisha was bad. She was so bad. Like I'm sitting there eating breakfast, getting ready to leave this morning, and I'm like, damn, girl.
So
Brandon's
when
like,
I first saw that,
go.
yeah, when I first saw that, I'm like, I thought you meant like, oh, like she was a badass. I'm like, oh, cool, we're gonna see her be like super cool. And afterward, I'm like, the hell was he talking about? And then I saw the tweet. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I put the wrong
she's
emphasis
fine.
on the
That's
word
all.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was watching this and being able to see what the partition like happen was very emotional. And seeing people that are in the same country, being persecuted because of their religious beliefs and being separated between Hindus and Muslim faith was really emotional. Like it was almost hard to watch, but they did it so well. It is so well, not wasn't blaming either side, but it was just more like this is what happened. And can you imagine having to leave something that a place where you've been there for centuries? And that's the story of a lot of cultures, especially from the 1600s to the 1900s, to mid 1900s. That's a story that you hear, and having to get on trains and leave everything and had to start all over. Not because you want to, because you have to. It was
You're like
emotional.
Yeah.
The fact,
but and then realizing that this family that you're watching is just like my family, or though they might not be praying to the same God, they're very similar to everything that I see. The people aren't different just because they believe in something different. They're still the same type of people, and I think that's what they're trying to get at, understanding that they're just like you. You're just like them. We're all people. We all are emotional. We all love our families. That's what you have to get. And if you understand those things, you're going to understand this whole show and understand why it needed to happen and why she needs to be a superhero. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's not shying away from exactly everything that you mentioned, Brian, is I think that's really, really great. It's not something that you typically associate with shows of this ilk or this genre. So the fact that it's delving into that, just like you said, man, it's very, very essential to the character of Kamala, this Americanized, Muslim girl. She's grown up, spent her whole life in Jersey. So I think it's very vital to her character growth, not just in this show, but moving forward to the Marvels or wherever else she's going to be in the MCU later down the line.
I just even just her. I'm thinking like I'm saying this even for when we look at Wakanda Forever, when we go into any of these shows that are going to put a different culture other than this American culture, you're thinking. I hate colonialism. Yeah, it was obviously I hate colonialism, but my point is that you're going to see that these people are just like you. That, people that you don't necessarily know or see a lot still function the same way that you function, and you need to be more accepting of it. And I think that's what I think actually some of the hate has started to diminish it because of that being the number one story all the time, every show. They're just like you. They're everything you're seeing, it's the same thing that happening in your family. Your kids are going through the same culture shocks and going and dealing with all these things. It might be worse, better or worse, but it's still the same thing you all going through. Everyone goes through the same thing when they're growing up. You see it through generations between her mother and herself, and her grandmother, and when she was a child. It's the same thing. Everyone's going through the same thing, and you have to realize that and stop thinking that what you went through is way harder, or that no one really went through anything that bad or anything. Just realize it's all the same thing. We're all coming from that space, and be accepting.
Yeah. I mean, it also
be decent.
It also talks about or shows how even though Kamala will be considered more American, but she's the first generation really American, because even her mother, is from Pakistan. So it's a good connection, not only to for the character to this power means something, but it means something because it connects all these women in the family, and this episode showed that, where it's just how important the women are and how important these powers are, and the stories that families tell each other, because it kind of ended where the grandmother Nani was being made fun of, all the aunts and everyone else oh, she's crazy and she's the weird one, and then they made more and more rumors about it because they didn't like what she was saying, and obviously it made the mom upset, which pushed the mom away. But it's she found out all these stories were true,
and then all these words about Aisha, her grandmother, were wrong. No, she died protecting her family, yet no one ever brings that up. No one saw her get stabbed, and all these terrible rumors. Oh, she ran out on her family. She's a terrible person. No, she's probably the bravest person you ever seen.
Yeah.
So it was just really, really interesting, connecting to your past and stuff like that, and I think this is really gonna make the next episode more impactful, because now she has her mom behind her, she has her family behind her now, and they support her, which I wasn't sure how they were going to get to it, and I like how they did, with this episode, really connecting everyone together, from the past to the present, and I mean, it was just really I thought well thought out and well executed, and just well told about it.
Real good.
Yeah, and I really loved that. Her family, upon finding out her secret, we're so used to the family finding out the true identity, or someone close to them, and then being like, oh, I don't want you to do this, you're going to kill yourself, blah blah blah, you're going to do all this. So you at least for me, you automatically think that kind of comes with the territory, and you think that's inevitably going to happen. So it was really a breath of fresh air to see Mrs. Khan, her grandmother, obviously, all have her back in that regard. I was taken by surprise with that, but I welcomed it.
It was something she said that really resonated with me about, I know I have to let you go, and I'm sorry that I've been holding too tight recently, because I recognize it's coming to an end. And that, I think that is every parent, as they have a child who's growing older, they see that and they have to deal with that.
Yep.
They see eventually this is coming to an end. My baby is about to be an adult, and it's hard. That's a hard thing to have to face, and they don't want to let go. And are they wrong for that? When you have a child, you know that they're not. You know, but when you are that child, you're like, why are you holding me so tight? And seeing that through the generations was just so intense. You know, and to the point where I paused it a couple of times. I went 20 minutes. I paused it, went back and watched that 20 minutes again.
Yeah.
And I thought that because it was so impactful, I thought that was important. And I wanted to really understand where they're coming from and understand where the mother's come from. Because even the trip going with her mother was really important too. For her, so now it healed her mother and her nanny's family and their connection with each other. So now they have each other again. So her mother won't feel lonely, and she's now able to let her go, let her daughter go a little bit more. You know, and I think that matters, and it's something that is needed at the time.
Definitely.
I want to know, do they keep secret or do they tell her father?
Oh, the father's got to find out. He's got to find out.
Yeah,
he has to.
Only because Bruno just got blown up.
Yeah.
And the little convenience store, that sucked. I was really upset about that. I was pissed. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you hear that Bruno's family left him, his parents left him.
Yeah.
You know, and so that the Khans really are the de facto family for him. And that makes you understand why he's so, always there. He's celebrating with everything because basically that's his de facto family.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I'll save that for never mind. I'll save what I think about Bruno for like wild speculations towards the end. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Brandon?
I was just gonna say at one point when Kamran showed up and called Bruno Brian again, I was like, no, he's doing this on purpose now.
So, what do you guys think about the fact that Cameron has powers now? His mother passed on. So, first of all, his mother sacrificed herself to close the void, which was interesting, and she did it for her son. And then she passed on the powers on to him. What do you think he knows? Do he has any idea what's going on?
No, I don't think he knows because he was like,
he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me like a 5-year-old. Like, no, I have to stay here. They're gonna find me. You know, that's what it reminded me of. Like just
Ray.
like a child. Yeah. God, don't bring that up. You're gonna summon Derpy. Yeah. Where's Derpy? He's like, somebody talking crap about Star Wars. Yeah, it reminded me of like very very childish.
Yeah, childish naivete, pretty much.
Yeah, but
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just gonna say, just in addition, I don't think he knows exactly what happened to his mother. Obviously, he's going to find out one way or another, probably through Kamala herself.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting and abrupt way to end things.
How does he act when he finds that out? Does he become the villain? Does he blame Kamala?
I don't see how he could.
I don't think
she already kind of.
I don't think. Yeah.
It's his mom.
Yeah, I don't see him blaming Kamala. He kind of realized the the drive of his mother to get home, and even if it meant hurting Kamala. So I don't think it would be too much of a stretch for him, to buy and understand what really ended up happening to her. To an extent, because she did end up sacrificing herself, which was a little, based on what we know so far, seemed a little abrupt and out of character for her.
It was really weird and really abrupt, and I thought that was a little bit of a problem. But I think I could see him blaming, especially initially, blaming Kamala because you weren't supposed to get caught. You weren't supposed to use that, open up that a portal. Yeah, because you allowed it to happen. Now my mother's gone, someone's going to become a villain. Someone has to. I think Cameron has a good beef. He lost his parents and he's alone. He's totally alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the show's gonna set that up because that after the episode finished, I turned around to my girlfriend. I'm like, who's gonna be the bad guy? There's still an episode left, and the bad guys are gone. So I'm like, is it gonna be Cameron or what? And then she gets home and she goes, well, it's gonna be the damage control. It's gonna be the government. And when I thought about it, I'm like, it's kind of true because they already told you in the flashback who was the real bad guys. It was the British, messing up that country and doing this and trying to separate and stuff like that.
Colonialism.
They might
divide and conquer.
But also it made me starting to think of like this might just be the seed where they start to introduce the mutants, because that's the big thing with the mutants is the government hates them, and all these politicians hating them because they're different. You already have this government or this organization that is trying to track down these people with powers. So
I mean, you making her a djinn kind of makes her into like a mutant.
Yeah,
So,
it would be so cool if they start planting the seeds for mutants. At this point.
I mean, it could easily, whatever guy there could be somebody working in there now that becomes that senator that like makes the Sentinels, and you can easily transition that this organization hates people with powers, and I think it might lead into that. But I think, I don't think Cameron's going to be the bad guy. I think he's going to get confused, like you said, a little bit, and he's going to blame her, but not really, because he does like her and he understands I think him and her and Brian. Oh my God, it got me saying.
He called him Brian.
Got me saying.
You're doing it too now. You're doing it too now.
But also, I like that it was legit. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know." That was hilarious. I'm like, that's good. That's legit. He didn't know.
That was really funny.
His name being Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. I mean, come on, I hear that 1,000 times a day.
Yeah. Real quick, we got Andy coming in. Did the clandestines predate the Islamic faith?
That's
possibly.
I don't know. So Islam is just like Hinduism and Islam. I mean, this is very old religion.
You start to tie the clandestines, whatever, to something inhuman, maybe later down the road. Inhumans were here long ago, according to MCU, obviously. So yeah, and then Muhammad was born, 570 CE. I mean, if you start doing the clandestines, jinn, Inhumans, if you start to call them that or something like that, I mean, those guys were around before anything. So
yeah, but it seems like it doesn't seem like these clandestines have been around that long. They've been around a long time, but it doesn't.
Not this group.
Yeah, Najma seems like she was around for what, maybe 50, 60 years. Like, it doesn't seem like it was like that long. Like, their plan was part of this partition. I think they started a lot of this stuff. I think that was kind of what their plan was. I don't think they've been around that long.
Yeah. And see, Dippy, sorry, I'm late. You're all good, man. You're good.
What's going on, Derpy?
Yeah. But I mean, they're not. I don't know. It depends on what they do with clandestines. I think eventually, whatever she is going to eventually going to be called Inhumans somehow. I think Kevin Feige obviously has a plan for the most part. It's a good plan. I tend to like. There are parts where I'm kind of like, what? But it is what it is.
So, I mean, the other thing they could do is actually bring the Eternals in. They could bring the Eternals and say the clandestines have been around since the Eternals too. They could do that. So they could say they've been around forever. I just don't. It didn't feel that way, because I mean, you just had a child now. Like, it doesn't. It didn't feel like this is something that you didn't wait 12,000 years and then said, "Let me have a kid." Like, it feels like it might have been like 50 or 60 years, and she's finally, okay, she had a kid, whatever. And I think that even what Kamala says, like, you took that away from Aisha. Why would you not take it away from Cameron? I thought that was I think that's going to be the focus of
Right.
the next episode. Hopefully, and is this the last episode? I'm a little pissed. How you gonna wait till all this stuff
Slash-
now, and now you want to finish it in 15 minutes? Come on, Feige, killing me, man.
Yeah, just dump it all in the final episode.
Mhm.
Unless I don't think they will, unless they pull like what they did with like the final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, make it a little bit longer than some of the others, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
they
shit,
might,
Andy,
but I don't see
I
it
want to
being
forget about that show.
Yeah, that's why he got his brain mushed in Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, that's what I felt after watching that stupid show. You know,
I think I made it through 2.5 episodes, and then I tapped out.
Really, the
Yeah.
first one I fell asleep in the middle, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I tried watching the second one. I said 10 minutes in, I said, "Nope, watching Castle."
And originally Inhumans was planned to be a movie, and then for whatever reason they went the TV show route. Just it's not too late, to just move forward with the movie plans. Just make a movie, do it right this time, and keep Anson Mount as Blackpool. Consider it a soft reboot. Just pretend like the TV show didn't happen, because
different universe.
To me, in the minds of many others, no one wants to remember that crap anyway.
All right, question. So,
Mhm.
so what movie? This last episode, do you think Ms. Marvel's coming in? Do you think? Because you already said now you think the government's going to be the bad guy. If that's the case, then it's not going to be Rambo. It's not going to probably be in the last episode then, because Monica Rambeau is a good part if she's running that
I don't think she's running that division. I think she's part of Sword, right?
Yeah.
This is like
Well, she's not part of Sword yet, is she?
I think so, because at the end of WandaVision,
I mean, she
some of
was
the
dealing with them.
scrolls. Yeah.
I think I thought I saw Captain Marvel in the promo.
I think Carol Danvers showing up would just be a much more fitting payoff. That's what I'm hoping for, but I think it would be, just considering the mega fan that Kamala is, what better ending, would it be for her to meet her idol? That's what I think.
But she's gonna be heartbroken because Bruno is going to go to Cal. He's leaving. He ain't got no reason to stay. He has nowhere to live. They blew up his store. Kamala has been, MIA. He's gonna go to Cal. That's what I think. She's gonna be heartbroken. He's gonna say, "I'm sorry, but I gotta continue. I gotta live somewhere. I gotta do something." He's gonna leave. Cameron's still gonna be around, but he's not gonna like Kamala as much. She's gonna be heartbroken, and I think that she ends up seeing Captain Marvel, but all that stuff is happening.
Yeah. I hope she sees Captain Marvel it'll be a nice little prelude to the Marvels for next year.
Yeah.
Well, what about Nakia? Do you think Nakia?
Well, real quick,
go ahead.
So
go ahead.
with Ms. Marvel, when they did their little time jump thing, I loved it. I thought it was super awesome that the Bengal did it, like her powers did it. When they did it though, I started thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if that's the trigger that Miss Marvel's like, hold on, somebody's dicking around with time again. Like, I need to go back to Earth and see who's messing with it. Because I think she's gonna have some kind of like, I don't know, senses it. I mean, they sense where Thanos was using the stone, so I'm assuming they can do something like that again. So I think that's when I wonder if that's it. Is like, hey, somebody did a time skip again. We need the big guns to come check this out just in case, and then so I think she's gonna come in possibly guns blazing and see it's a kid, and we're like, hold on, so and then obviously she's gonna
and Kamala is like actually like Kamala's probably trying to defend herself, and she probably grabs her or something like that, and realizes who it is, and then
like,
oh my
god, yeah. Well, Andy said real quick, I don't think Damage Control is going to be the final villain. Who else can it be? I mean, I guess Cameron would be the only other one, but I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like Cameron being the final villain.
No, and I don't know if I'd buy him, kind of turning to antagonist,
Yeah, exactly.
No, only, but
especially
can't
given
have
what
too
we know
many
about him.
guys though. So we got
Yeah.
Kareem. You have Kareem. It
Mhm.
doesn't seem like he's going to be the final villain. But you have Cameron, who actually has an arc that would make sense to him to go somewhere else. You got Bruno, who's probably leaving her, and she's going to only have Nakia left in her life to deal with this stuff. And I don't see anyone else being able to be a villain besides either Damage Control or Cameron.
It's gonna be one of them two. I agree.
Or
Really
they just bring
interesting
someone
to see
totally
how
out
that
of nowhere.
turns out.
They do a Loki and just bring like, the one above all, or
Right at the end.
Yeah.
at the end, just totally just like F my mind F everybody. It's like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Be
Lord.
interesting to see where they go.
Yeah. But any last we said Cameron, but it'll be out of his control. Oh, like he got like the power is brainwash, maybe? Is that what you're thinking? Or emotions?
Or the power
Yeah.
brings along.
True MCU villain.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
or the power brings along him feeling that way.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. That last episode. One episode
Yeah.
left and it's a lot. But any last things before we move on? Because we've been kind of about 30 minutes already for this one.
Do you have any wild speculation in the other ones?
I got one. If Brandon wants to go first.
I'm honestly not sure, because it would have to be somebody that's already established, because otherwise someone or something else coming out of left field, just it very seldom does that kind of thing work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'd like to think that Marvel's kind of been stepping their game up a little bit here, at least here and there, with some of their with some of their villains. Some of them still are kind of miss, but when they hit, they very much do hit. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I could speculate all day based on what we already know. So really, I'm just trying to just kind of wait it out, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you? You got anything, Brian?
Besides maybe Cameron being the villain of all this, exactly like her, having powers very similar to her. I can see that's what it is. I mean, usually the villain has similar powers. I don't see them having both of them fighting for good without a bad person. I feel like that has to be it.
Mhm.
And actually, that Damage Control is not going to come in trying to be angry with her, trying to get her to say no. He's actually been doing these things before, and it's not him. It's the other dimension that's calling out to him, and you have to stop him, and he's not going to understand it, and they're going to have to face off.
That'd be interesting. Like you said, like it's out of his control. Same, what like Andy said. Okay, I wouldn't be too bad with that because then it's not him. It's his
It's the
new
powers.
power or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the Dormammu. I mean, it's the same type of thing. Like some people, the other dimension is controlling some of these things.
Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting. So one thing I was thinking about, I was like, Bruno is gonna have his parents be somebody important. I think. I don't know who. I feel like though they can easily tie it into somebody of importance. I mean, maybe not anybody that we know yet. Maybe not anybody in the MCU already, but like future characters or something like that. Because you got to explain like why is he like so smart. I mean, granted, yeah, there's just smart people. That parents were not so smart. I get it. But in the MCU, nothing happens by accident. I mean, like smart people are smart because their parents are smart. Or something like that. So they're gonna find a way, I think, to like do something with his
Maybe
parents.
Mr. Fantastic. I mean, Reed Richards is one of the smartest men in all of the universe of all time. I mean, they argued that he's as smart as Iron Man, if not smarter than Iron Man. Would that be? I mean, maybe that, but maybe that he's his little brother or something like that too.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be smaller, just because you have to keep it in a show, because I think that'll be something where he has to now choose between: do I stay with Kamala? Do I go to the school, or do I chase this, thread that might lead to my parents? And I think that might be a good thing too, because then Kamala needs to figure out, like, if he goes to school, then Kamala's like, okay, cool, I get it. But now it's like, oh shit, do I help my buddy out, my friend, my best friend, or do I go, run and play superhero with, my idol? So, so yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be kind of interesting. But Andy said it's gonna be the blonde from the first episode, the evil cheerleader. In the comics, I think her and Kamala's friend, who just got like voted in on the
board
thing. I think in the comics they wind up becoming a couple. I could be wrong, but I thought I read something like that.
So Kamala and Nakia,
the Nakia and the blonde chick.
Oh wow!
Chick. I think in the
for her to be that Muslim, whoa, that would be crazy. Tearing down all walls. Right? I got you. Just all throw them all down. I don't know if Disney's that strong. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Or that brave.
We'll see. But yeah, I think so. I could be wrong. I would double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what I was reading it about. Cool. Oh yeah, go check out was it Chillmonger? He's like huge into Miss Marvel kind of stuff. He's been talking about her for a long time. So, and he just started following the channel. So yeah, go check out Chillmonger. He has I like his channel. It's pretty funny. He does like some cool stuff too. So, but cool, man. Anything else before we move on?
No. I will say the show legitimately is making me want to start picking up Miss Marvel comics.
Yeah, same. I want to know more.
I just love when you take something that really happened in the past and have history lesson a little bit along with the show. That's why I loved Captain America and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love that when you take something from the past and you put it in there. It makes the show better. It really does.
It makes you want to look into real life stuff. Like the Watchmen. Like I think I didn't know about the Tulsa, massacre until I watched Watchmen, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is real. Same thing with this. I didn't know about this partition thing until the show, and then I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh wow.
I never really looked into it. And adding things like that really happened, it adds more more dimension to it. It adds layers. It makes it feel like a little bit more than just like a slam bang comic show or comic series. In a lot of cases, there needs to be more than just action, explosions, fight scenes, and stuff like that. So it's adding a lot of depth and fleshing it out a lot more, which is what I'm really enjoying about it.
I'm enjoying the show a lot more than early reviewers were saying. I thought I was gonna enjoy it. I'm like, I usually like stuff because at worst it's okay and it's still fun. But I thought that's what this was gonna be because everyone's like, oh, it's a teenage show, So I was like, all right, whatever. It's not. It's really not. It's way more than that.